Welcome to today's Southwest Zone Town Hall meeting. This is the first meeting that we've had since early June. I appreciate our panelists that are here today. Today, we are going to be talking about return to practice, success stories and challenges. We do have a little bit different format now. These are going to be Zoom webinars as opposed to Zoom meetings. The difference is you're only going to be able to see the panelists and the people that are talking. Our Zoom meetings was everybody was able to be viewed. So the attendees, thank you so much for coming. Please go ahead and ask your questions through the Q&A feature. Again, this is a new format for all town hall meetings. We're still going to use this like the Zoom meeting format for our coaches to coaches sessions on Thursdays. Today, our purpose is we're speaking with coaches and club admins of various clubs in the Southwest Zone who have been practicing for the past couple of weeks, and we will share and discuss their success stories and challenges about getting back to the pool. All right, this will be a roundtable discussion, as I will ask some questions of each of our kind of panelists to answer, and we'll just go around the table. Yeah, for those attending, please feel free to ask questions in the Q&A feature, okay? And I will make sure that they get answered. Panelists, please feel free to ask each other questions, okay? Please, if you need to ask me questions, that's fine as well. All right, so I'm just going to go around and give a very simple kind of a introduction, and then the panelists are going to go ahead and say kind of what club they're from, kind of where their club is located, how long have they been back in the water, and kind of how many practices they're doing right now. So let's start in Houston area. So let's go ahead with Colby with Southside Water Polo. So Colby Timms with Southside Water Polo.
Yeah, so this is Colby Thames with Southside. We're in principally in Pearland. We have another practice location at the University of Houston that we've had for a few months up until the COVID hit. And, we're excited to be back in the pool. We've got 3 practices, 3 nights of practice a week now. When we're limited to that by the pool that we're at. All those practices are about an hour, 45 minutes. So it's, all total, a little under 6 hours of pool time we're splitting across our athletes. So we've been back. This is our 3rd week back. So we're just starting to kind of knock the rust off.
Yeah, good. All right, so while we're in Houston, let's go to Jeff Otten with Triumph Aquatics.
Hey, thanks, Jess. Jeff Otten with Triumph Aquatics. So we got back in the water at the beginning of June. Here in Leak City, we've been using Williams Pool in Webster, going twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, with an hour and a half for high school and an hour and a half for the 14U.
Okay. Well, good. Well, thank you. So now let's go over to the Austin area with the 2 late people here. James Smith with Aquatics. Unmute.
Yeah, we've been back since May 18. We were given permission to basically follow the guidelines that were given by the city and by Williamson County. And frankly, our limits are maybe as generous as any in the country. We are limited to 300 people. And so our essential rule is 2 meters distance, and that's it, in and out of the pool. And so obviously if you can't show up with symptoms, no parents are allowed on the deck. The locker rooms are closed except for the toilets. We scrimmage, but we don't do any body contact. So it's basically like ultimate Frisbee. By the way, thank you, Joe. And so we try to run as much as we possibly can, shadow style, no defense, and obviously defensive skills, but without offense. So we go Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then a Zoom session on Monday as well.
Yep, perfect. Thank you. While we're in Central Texas, Pascal, so what have you guys been doing? Pascal of Zilla.
Yeah, so we've been working out for a few weeks now. We started with a couple weeks of just dry land once a week. Just get the kids back out there. All the social distancing rules there. And then this past week, we started in the pool. Similar to James, except we do allow parents on the pool deck as long as they're wearing masks and social distancing. I think we've had less than 15 kids at every practice, so hasn't been an issue yet. I think as we get more numbers, it will be. We also a little bit different from some of you guys is on set. So we practice Tuesday, Thursday, 7:30 to 8 dry land, 8 to 9:30 in the water. And we also practice Saturday, 11 to 1 at the Valente Beach. Some of you guys might have attended the tournament there. We might change that because the rules there are very loosey-goosey. We try to make sure our team is following all the rules, but when you've got the public out there, climbing over each other and nobody's wearing masks and stuff, it's a little scary. So we try to keep our area isolated as much as possible, but we'll have to rethink that because it is starting to get a little scary there.
Okay. All right, so now back up to North Texas. So we've had 2 from Houston, 2 from Central Texas. Spencer with Pegasus. Spencer Dornan with Pegasus.
Yeah, how's it going? We're located in basically central Dallas. We are limited by our pool time and space. There's only one pool that is currently open right now, so every swim team and everybody's trying to get in there. We're limited to 2 kids per lane, and we only have 6 lanes. So we practice Saturdays and Sundays, and we go in about hour-long increments. And we have we're in the pool facility 8 to 9 hours, and we just basically rotate in 12 kids, split them up, making sure all the social distancing with the bags and all that fun stuff. We're limited to the pool is also shallow deep, which is not ideal. So we try to do mainly ball work and swimming and stuff like that, and then we'll break the groups up, and we'll do some passing and shooting in the deep end with 6 of the kids, and then the other 6 will work with them with some fundamental skills in the shallower end of the pool. But the biggest challenge for us is some of these kids hang out together and they don't do any social distancing, and so they come to practice and all of a sudden new rules apply. And our facility has been pretty strict with the fact that they've told us if we're not maintaining social distancing, that they'll shut it down, and they'll shut it down for all the programs. So we've been trying to be pretty strict about it.
Good. All right. Now our newest club in the Southwest Zone is Sigma Water Polo with Coach Trevor Doyle.
Yeah, so thank you for having me. Yeah,
Fort Worth, by the way, in Fort Worth.
Yeah, so Sigma Water Polo just started out in Fort Worth. It actually started a little bit pre-COVID, kind of in March. And so with the COVID restrictions, I kind of took over as their new head coach. And so it is based out in Fort Worth now. We've been back in the water for about 3 to 4 weeks. I guess this is technically the start of our 4th week. We are a outdoor pool, so it makes it a little bit easier in terms of, I feel like restrictions are a little bit easier on an outdoor pool versus an indoor pool. But we're 6 lanes, shallow deep pool, 2 kids per lane, similar to Spencer. So it makes it a little bit of a challenge in terms of we can only have 12 kids in at the time. One big thing is our practice slots are only 45 minutes, and I get 3 45-minute slots Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And so I have to divide that up between high school, splash ball, and like a middle school age group. And so trying to get fundamentals for a brand new club taught in 45 minutes is kind of hard. And so I'd say that's definitely one of our biggest struggles right now.
Okay, well, good. Thank you all for sharing your current situations. It's great that you guys are back in the pool. I think right now we have 6 to 8 clubs here that are currently practicing. I think there are going to be some more clubs that are going to be practicing here over the next couple of weeks. But I appreciate you guys kind of sharing. For those that are just joining us, if you have any questions and you're an attendee, please feel free to ask in the Q&A feature. Please feel free to ask. So now I'm going to go around the table here again, and we all have positives and challenges. So we're going to go over the positives first. So just getting back and having that FaceTime kind of with the athletes. What are some of the biggest positives that are the takeaways from your first couple of weeks of practicing? Let's go to Austin and Pascal and Zilla. Unmute.
Sorry. One of the positives definitely is the social aspect. The kids have really been missing each other, and just getting them back into doing stuff. I think a lot of them have been sitting in front of their computers for a while, and so it's good to, and they're not as in bad a shape as we thought. I mean, definitely got a long ways to go, but they're kids. They get in shape a lot faster than we do.
Yeah,
At least me. Parents have been very supportive. I would say, that, and we can talk about that later, but there's a wide range of parent support, goes in all directions. So the guards have been really good. The city's been really good working with us, although I heard the governor just announced something today, so I don't know how that's going to impact some of these. But I mean, it's just great to get back in and seeing everybody. I think the fact that we're in the water right now, and some of the, like California's still got another month or two, it's not going to close the gap, but it might make it a little bit smaller.
Hey, we need everything we can get.
And one other thing I did want to say is a lot of parents have been contacting me more than in the past years. And I don't know if it's because, we're getting more known, but I think part of it is there's not a lot of options for sports out there, and they're seeing that, hey, there is water polo and my kid might like this.
Yeah.
And so I think that's actually helping.
Yeah, it's a great chance to get kids that can't do their sport to come over to water polo. So what about you, James, in Aquatics? So what are some of the positives?
Much of the same. It actually, this whole thing corresponded with actually kind of doubling down on just learning about how to coach this stuff. And so since we've been back, it's been almost like a different team. So the level of intensity that we have, that in addition to having a couple of assistant coaches have been extremely good at helping with practice planning, has been hugely beneficial. But I saw them on Zoom. It's just not the same. It's fun to see them on the deck. They're having a very good time. They're really glad to be back. And my interaction with parents has been limited because they're not allowed. But they have made it clear that they're quite happy to get them out of the house.
There you go. I think that is probably true across the board. Anything else?
No, I think that's about it. I mean, I happen to actually like my kids, which is hard to believe.
Good.
I'm glad to have them back.
I think we all like the kids. We may not have liked them before, but we want to see them all now. So
There's one or two. I don't know. We'll talk to them.
So how about you, Spencer? I know it's only once a week or twice a week on the weekends. I'm sure there's some positives there, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously seeing the kids, seeing them see each other and be excited is also feels good. It's also nice for me to feel like I'm actually doing the stuff I love and coaching and being back at that, which is very refreshing. Yeah, I mean, it's, there's obviously challenges, but overall the kids are motivated. They're excited to be there. Their attitudes are really positive, and I think they're just appreciative that they can get in the water and do something close to water polo. So
yeah, exactly. How about you, Trevor?
Definitely the biggest success is just getting in the water. The kids that I took over for, they only had like one practice really, and then spring break happened and they had all the restrictions. So they really just got kind of teased about water polo. And so just to kind of give them that full experience of, hey, let's start practicing, let's start learning all these things. Like they only had like one practice over egg beater and that was about it. So to finally start, hey, let's start working on passing, start working on these like core fundamentals was pretty fun for them, and they're enjoying it a lot. And obviously that makes me pretty happy too.
All right, Colby. Yeah, just how about you down in Pearland?
Yeah, I'd just say a lot of more the same. By far the largest success has been getting back in the pool and enjoying the practice and the protocol. And I'd say probably the other thing maybe that's hadn't been mentioned, but I think probably others would agree, is I've been impressed by the kids. It seems like the receptiveness to learning is opened up more than it was before, and part of that is kind of Spencer hit on a little bit. Something that you love doing gets taken away or you can't do, you come back and you kind of have more appreciation for it. So I think there's been a high degree of receptiveness, and frankly, I've been impressed by their willingness to abide by the protocol that's being asked for us from the USA Water Polo, from the pool, the distancing, wearing masks in and out of the facility, was a concern, right, of how well they were going to take it. And they've all really just kind of fallen right in, and they understand. I mean, there's probably the one point at the end of practice where they all want to kind of congregate and run through the shower and that sort of thing. That's the only point that we really had to manage. So their awareness of what's being requested that wasn't requested before has been a real positive for us as coaches having to manage, the process. We've just been really impressed by their willingness to step up and do what's required of them as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was actually really impressed too. Not just the older groups, but the younger groups, which I thought was going to be the biggest problem, which has been totally fine. So it's been great.
Yeah. And then the last one, Jeff, positives with we have a triumph.
I think by positives of this whole terrible situation, it cleared the game schedule, and it kind of gave everyone a moment to learn patience and breathe. And we've been able to take a few steps back and focus in on more fundamentals, similar to what Spencer's highlighted. And because there is no other alternative, the kids kind of like, they know they want to do more and have more contact, but they know it's just not an option. It is forcing them to learn patience and actually focus on the individual skills. Downside, just overall pool time and availability. We were using the school district before this, and they're shut down, and they're going to be struggling come fall too. So it's been just overall change.
Yeah. So now, Spencer just kind of brought up like the younger guys. So I'm just curious, how young is your youngest player out there? Just kind of real quick. Spencer.
I believe 8.
8. So good. Trevor.
Our youngest is 7.
Oh yeah, like you have the splash ball group. Colby.
Yeah, we have the splash ball group.
Yeah. We've got a couple of 8-year-olds and a 9-year-old.
Okay.
So we've got some youngers there. We preference kids to get them in there because we still have a waiting list. We preference the people who have been engaged. So we have a couple of really young ones that have been in there, and so we've got all age ranges now.
Perfect. Jeff.
Got a few 9-year-olds that
Nice.
earlier this month.
James.
7 and 8. One kid, Asher Pascal. You're going to hear from him, I'm certain, because he's so amped. He wants to play polo for us and for other teams.
Pascal. Can I unmute yourself?
Yeah, I think my youngest is 10, but I've got about 2 or 3 kids in the 8-year-old range that have contacted me. They haven't come to practice yet, but they're probably going to come.
Well, I'm glad, because I know that was a concern of mine, is whenever the kids go back, how are these kids going to react? Are they going to be the hard ones? And it's good to know that these kids are behaving, maybe not 100%, but they are kind of following the rules, and it sounds like they're kind of really working hard. As far as other challenges are concerned, I know everybody has their different challenges, from the guidelines, their facilities, their parents, their kids. So what are some of the major challenges that you guys have specifically? Spencer.
I mean, to get started, it was just setting parent expectation on, you have such a wide range of parents that, on one end are not understanding why we're not back to full contact. And then on the other side, you have parents saying, can you shock the pool between each hour-long practice? And so just getting them comfortable on what the rules are and that we are being safe. And, from that side of it. And then I mentioned earlier, just, you have siblings or kids that have been allowed to, intermingle. And then just understanding that what goes on at home is not the same rules when you come to the pool deck. But beyond that, it's been fairly easy, I think.
Okay. Now, just kind of real quick, Spencer, you also have a master's group practicing too. How is that going?
Correct. That's going great. I mean, it's a lot. They typically will swim for 15, 20 minutes, and then it's just a kind of big social distancing party, essentially. they pass 6 feet apart, but most of the time they're just chit-chatting away. So
that's the whole purpose of masters, right? The social aspect.
And I think that it's just the aspect of getting together and doing something that they used to do every weekend, and now they're back able to do that. They're really appreciative of it.
Is it like a shoot around?
No, I mean they did shoot. This last practice was the first one, but mainly they'll swim and then they'll just spread out and just pass the ball and talk. That's pretty much the extent of the Masters practice. So
That is, normally a Masters practice is no swim, not much passing, and just in straight scrimmaging. So eventually,
well, it's really funny because they used to take 30 to 40 minutes of their 2-hour practice to actually get in the water.
Get in the pool. Exactly right.
Now they're like in right away.
There you go. They're even following the rules. That might even be more difficult than the 10-year-olds. So good. Well, now, Trevor and Sigma. So what are the primary challenges out there?
Yeah, so definitely the biggest challenge is we don't have a lot of the equipment that we need, mainly goals. So they're locked away at a different facility. So we've been using a recreational pool. And so we've been using tables as our best way to just kind of field goals. And I guess the other big problem is trying to give like the kids a real authentic experience of water polo is pretty hard, especially for ones that have never played the game and that don't get to know what the defense is like. So trying to have them imagine what the defense is doing or playing shadow offense is a little bit hard for them to understand at first, just because the best that they can see is either links I've sent them on like, oh, here's a YouTube video to maybe go watch for homework. But obviously like my splash ball group isn't going to go watch the YouTube video and understand how the game works that well. So it's trying to juggle that balance of, hey, let's give you that full experience and trying to get you to understand what the game is truly like.
Okay. Now, this is again, you mentioned that y'all had a week before this, like everything shut down back in March. So this is essentially a brand new program. So, how is the word getting out for the program? And obviously all your kids are kind of new. So, how is that going? Is the word getting out, or are you getting more and more kids interested in the program?
Right. Yeah. So besides just telling the other families, so we're partnered with a swim team. And so they've had swim lessons. And so we have all these people that we can email quickly. And that's kind of where our basis of trying to get the word out was to the swim team families, to these people that have done swim lessons for a while. Other than that, I've been making flyers and trying to find different online groups to post to and trying to get into Fort Worth, news sites or newspapers to try to push that out there right now to try to get our name out there and to say, hey, there's a new sport in town. We're open during COVID restrictions. Come check us out. Email me at roman@sigmaswimming.org. So that's the best way, is just trying to get an online presence.
Well, that's incredible. Well, just keep up the good work and good luck. So now,
Thank
Colby.
you.
So Colby, down at kind of what are the challenges with in Pearland?
Yeah, I'm sure like everybody else, pool time, right, is probably the number one thing. So I think we all of you would, we were to kind of all line up. How do we get more kids in the pool within the restrictions? But there's probably two other things, and one of them I think it's kind of to build on one thing that Jeff said. It's kind of broken us out of our schedule a little bit. Is we have like a program plans and practice plans, and we get in a rut, right? We're doing the same things, and now we can't execute half of it. So it's really kind of been it's pulled us out of that same rhythm, and we've had to find new ways, new methods, and new drills, right, that we weren't doing before. So I think we kind of took what was it could have been a negative around how do we fill up our time with what we usually do, and kind of Daniel in particular come up with some creative ways to fill up the time and some new methods we haven't been using before. The other thing I think that's really tactical, I'm not sure if you guys are dealing with this, but in the Pearland Auditorium, we have to wear a mask on deck as a coach. You guys have known me for a while. I'm pretty loud, and Austin's definitely pretty loud. And so you find yourself having to take a step back, pull it down, pull a whistle up under your mask, and it just ends up being logistically kind of difficult to really communicate in a environment that's got questionable acoustics anyway. So we've had to overcome that. It's the right thing to do. It's what's required by the facility, but that ends up being a little bit of a challenge, unique to us on the deck, having to manage that.
So just kind of real quick, does everybody's facility require the athletes and coaches to wear masks, or just athletes or just coaches? Just Yeah, just curious. So Colby,
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
well,
so we
okay.
have to wear, everybody has to wear a mask. So at the Pearland Auditorium, you show up, we get temperature checked, and everybody has to wear a mask in the facility when they're not in the pool. So we'll start off doing some dry lands with masks on, and then when they're ready to get in the water, like they got to strip down of their suit, they can take their mask off then.
Okay.
And to be fair, I think we probably are more sensitive to it than maybe the NAT is watching us. But at the same time, we're guests there, right? And we want to make sure we're doing the right thing. But we are very cognizant of that's a requirement for the coaches, and so it's a little bit difficult to work through. But I think the way to handle it more than anything else is if you really have to yell, you take a few steps back to make sure you're off further away and just raise the volume a little bit, pull it down, raise the volume, put it back on, and get back on the kind of on pool side. So logistically, it's hard to do, but it's a kind of the price of getting back in.
So just kind of real quick, just who like masks for athletes, coaches, James?
None.
None.
We started our first workout where everybody had masks and was situated 2 meters apart, including their gear. And city said that we could follow guidelines that said that they didn't have to. And so we don't. And neither do my coaches.
Pascal?
Yeah, so we don't have any restrictions. Even the public that swims before us doesn't have to wear masks. Now, all the coaches wear masks. When we separate into groups, if we're more than 10 feet apart and we're running drills, we'll take our masks off, put it on our below our chin or something just to do that. But as soon as we get together, no masks. The only time we do require masks of the kids and the parents is when they're on the pool deck and they're not exercising. So we actually do our dry land outside the pool area because we're an outdoor facility. We go out in the grass. We give them lots of separation. We have them run, sprints in the grass and stuff. So that's usually not an issue. And as long as when they're, taking their clothes off, they have to have their suits on, no going in the locker rooms, nothing like that. But we make sure everybody's social distancing until we get in the water. And even then, we do our best to do that. We actually assign one coach to be kind of the policeman for practice. So that person's job is to primarily make sure that everybody's following the rules. And if, drill's not working right, everybody's too close together, it's up to them to bring it to everybody's attention. Because sometimes as coaches, we get caught up in the details of a practice and we don't realize that kids are getting a little close. So,
all right, Jeff, mask or no mask?
Harris County. So starting yesterday, masks are now required just to enter the building and exit the building. So have a new recent thing. And the parents, it was nice, like notification went out yesterday and everyone responded positively and did what was necessary just to get in the building. So that was nice to see today.
All right, good. Spencer, mask or no mask?
The kids have not been required to wear masks. The coaches have been while the kids are changing or just entering or exiting the pools. Once the kids are in the water, the coaches can take them off basically if they're far enough back on the pool deck where they're, social distancing from the kids. And, like you said, like Colby said, it's a logistical issue with kids being able to hear you. We are also in an outdoor facility, so I think that helps as well. But with the new Dallas guidelines coming up, we'll probably have to have the kids wear masks coming in and out of the facility as well.
Trevor, mask? No mask?
Yeah, so we have our kids wear masks in and out of practice. They take it off right before the lane line. So like right before they jump in, they leave it on the side. And then I'm the only coach on deck, so I wear it throughout most of the practice until I really have to blow my whistle. And then once I'm taking off the whistle, I'm the only coach on deck. And luckily, we're also outdoor. So in that case, I do take off the mask. But other than that, I usually try to wear it just to help facilitate the rules a little bit better and show, hey, be a good example, I guess.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. Now, there was one question about the feasibility of masks in the water because of kind of some of the more restrictions that are coming up. Anybody have any comments or thoughts on the feasibility of masks in the water for athletes? Is that even going to be possible, or is that not something that's probably going to be able to be happening?
I can address it.
I don't think that's possible. I think
Let's go, James.
Yeah, because this is one of my parents, so I'll answer it. The feasibility is probably not very high, but even more appropriately is that there's just no indication from Williamson County or the city of Round Rock that it's going to be required. I was going to make a point about what Pascal said is I think that a lot of this, if not all of this, is driven by the fact that our pools are used for rec purposes during the summer. That's their big money making. And those requirements are explicitly called guidelines, so that you're supposed to maintain social distancing, but no one's going to enforce it. And that's been put out there publicly, so we have a fairly unique situation. So I don't think masks are feasible in and of themselves. And I'm fairly hopeful that my club's not going to need them.
Okay. Jeff, you were commenting?
I think it'd be a lot easier just to maintain social distancing throughout your practice than have masks. It would be dangerous for the kids having face coverings around water.
Okay. Yeah, Pascal?
I was going to agree. John got in the water to help with a passing the other day, and he was wearing a mask, and as soon as it got wet, he's like, this is useless.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for answering that. I appreciate it. Just to get back on our challenges and such, I mean, Colby, kind of one thing that Southside's doing is you're still doing the Zoom sessions.
We are.
How is that attendance going and such for your Zoom sessions for Dry Island and Chalk Talks?
Yeah, so it's actually stayed relatively even. As soon as, like everybody else, right, as soon as we got effectively shut down, we jumped on the virtual thing, and we eventually settled in on a dry land for 14 and under and one for high school, on a weekly basis, and the attendance held pretty well. And then on Saturdays we do a Chalk Talk, which is been pretty successful for us. So we've had, in the dry lands, 20, 25 kids show up, at max. Some weekends there's 15 or so. And then the Chalk Talk ranges between probably about the same sort of numbers. And honestly, Joe, I think from a go forward perspective, we both sort of delivery mechanisms, we want to figure out how to continue to make that a part of what we do going forward. I mean, there's a lot of efficiency with regard to doing dry lands on off days that way, because people can do it from home. And with regard to the Chalk Talk, we found it really, really helpful. We had so little time during practices to talk about why. Why are we doing things? Why, why this defense? Why this motion? Because we're so focused on what you had to do and how you have to do it. Then it's been a really good augmentation to just our education and sharing of the kids. So I'm not sure if it'll continue to be weekly, but we'll definitely keep some version of that in our curriculum going forward. And we're still doing it, and attendance seems pretty solid. We did have to calibrate the start time on Saturday. We found during this kind of pandemic, 10 a.m. on Saturday with a bunch of kids, attendance wasn't as good as it was a little bit later, right? So we had to continue to push it back until we found we still have a lot of sleep hair and whatnot going on, but at least they're on and listening.
All right, Jeff. So what are some of the challenges down at Williams Pool for Triumph?
The general pool environment, it's a greenhouse, and using this pool in June and July June and May has been a challenge. Also, I think we all have that one kid that asks to go to the bathroom nonstop during practice, and making that kid actually understand you can't use the facilities. I had multiple conversations with the same kid. He's like, Coach, it's right there. I see it. You can't use it. It's not for you.
So just talking about your facility, I know that they didn't necessarily give you a whole lot of guidelines, and you had to make up your own guidelines kind of a little bit. How was that? I mean, just kind of starting from scratch there.
Luckily, USA Water Polo did a great job and put out a lot of resources, and we passed the majority of those notes along to our parents, and we've been able to maintain those guidelines. The one thing the facility has done is limit the number of outside organizations that they bring in. They only have one organization in the pool per day. So I have appreciated that from Ken. But other than that, he's real loose on stuff. And even his mask thing is like, oh, Harris County requires it. We have a sign up. Basically, he's like, I just don't want to get in trouble. So it's in and out the door, and then he really doesn't care what happens.
Hey, I understand. I understand. All right, James. So what are some of your challenges? I mean, you've been at this the longest, so.
Resourcing is the same for us. I mean, we share it with the swim team, so the swim team takes priority still. So I'm missing practice right this moment, and we basically have the small pool for a while, the big pool for the rest of it. And then Thursday we only have the small pool. Then Friday we only have the big pool. So these are relatively minor problems, but that's the case during the summer. The summer is the worst time of year for us, actually, from a resourcing perspective. Yeah, the challenge is a body contact. So that's the hurdle. Once that, in whatever form it takes, is gone, then we can actually be a water polo team again.
And hopefully sooner rather than than later. So that's, I think, the hope, kind of, just going up the line. So now I think Aquatics was the first club that got to practice from coast to coast. Did you get any good positive feedback from around the country?
Well, some, but as you know, Joe, there was also some feedback that wasn't so positive. All I can say is that there are some coaches in California that were actually quite envious and made that clear. But the feedback from the coaches in Texas and elsewhere has been fantastic. And it's a matter of, it's a little bit of a matter of pride. We got some publicity from it. And so therefore we got some more people contacting us, which was great. But frankly, it's just a matter of gratitude. We just lucked into it. So I'm just super grateful.
Awesome. Good. All right, Pascal. So what are some of the challenges? You guys are doing dry land still. You're in a lake, you're in a pool. So some challenge.
Obviously the lake, the challenge there is just to keep the social distancing with all the public around. We're actually pretty lucky when it comes to pool time. I mean, we get the lake the entire weekend if we want it, Saturday and Sunday. We get the pool 8 to 9:30 any night of the week. So if I wanted to add 4 or 5 more practices, I could do that. Obviously, we don't have the huge numbers right now, so financially, I haven't figured that out yet. I think that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. And I think the point that people made of, these kids are friends outside the pool. And so, anytime they start talking, they're like magnets. They start to get closer and constantly having to bug them to separate. I think in our case, at least, the girls seem to be worse than the boys. They just want to hug each other, and the boys are fine with their masks being far apart. But I would say that's it. I was kind of frustrated myself that you guys did a lot of learning about coaching during the break, and I just worked more hours at Dell. So I really missed out on a great opportunity to improve my coaching skills.
We were able to do more professional development because people like you worked more at their technology class. So there you go.
I guess, I don't know, but I worked a lot of hours instead of coaching waterfalls.
But one thing that I know some people have asked, and I asked you, and it's kind of a interesting story, is how were you able to work out in the lake? Because that was specifically said in the USA Water Polo Guidelines that you couldn't work out in open bodies of water.
Yeah, so I called right over, as soon as I read that, I called about it. And basically what they were saying was, as soon as they had all the pool closures, every team was trying to get permission to go work out in the ocean.
Yep.
And the insurance company's like, no, we're not going to just suddenly start letting everybody work out in the ocean. So what they said was, if you've already got a facility on your approved facility list that was under insurance in the past, which the lake was for us, they would grandfather us in.
That's great.
Practicing at the lake. So yeah, they were very nice about that. I was really concerned that we wouldn't be able to do it, and they said, no, you guys are fine. It was more to just stop the inrush of people going out to the ocean. I think
that is the only grandfathered in open body of water that I can think of in Texas. Everybody else uses pools. So, and that's
interesting. We've actually started using the deeper water now. So we used to just practice inside the bulkheads. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the lake.
Yeah.
We used to practice inside the bulkheads. Now we put like the younger kids on the inside, and the older ones just swim out to the main part of the lake. I mean, we do 50 yards out, 50 yards back.
Hey, so it's all about getting creative. So right now, and as far as I know, Zilla is still planning to do the beach water polo tournament in August. We are hoping that tournament start back up here in August again. I appreciate everyone coming in. If there's any last minute questions from our attendees, please go ahead and ask in the Q&A feature. Do any of you have any questions kind of for each other or me?
Well, I did want to say one thing that although it's still on the calendar and we're still going to push for it, our experience right now has not been great with the fact that the public's not really following any guidelines, and they're not going to close the lake or the water park to the public when we have this tournament. So unless we can figure out a way to fix that, we may not have the tournament, just because we don't put all these. I mean, there's already concern with having that many polo players together, but I think
everybody will understand, Pascal. I mean, we have to do what's best for the athletes first, and you know what? I think we're going to hopefully have some other tournaments this fall. But everybody, I just want to say, we do have a question here. Will ODP start in the fall? James.
Why did you have to ask me that question of all?
I didn't. That's just what was answered. That was what I asked.
Our first camp is scheduled for September at UT, and being somewhat of a glass half empty kind of guy, I'm concerned that that's not going to take place. There's some options that we have for still having it in Central Texas, so we'll have to explore that. I guess the answer is sort of yes until I'm told otherwise. There are 3 camps that are already on the schedule. No one has said anything about West Region Championships being delayed or anything like that. So that's the best answer I can get. I'm waiting around like most other people too.
Yeah, I think we're all in a wait and see kind of environment right now. Guys, thank you so much. This has been great. I think it gives everyone that's not practicing kind of hope and maybe some different ideas, and kind of I wish you all the best of luck. If you need kind of like some info or stuff here or there, please let me know. But thank you so much, everybody. And this has been recorded. It will be posted at txwaterpolo.com. And our next week's town hall meeting is going to be on diversity. So tune in next Tuesday at 6:30. We will resume our Texas Coaches to Coaches this upcoming Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Thank you, everybody. I will stick around if you have any questions here, but thank you so much, everybody.
That was a good plug. Thanks for plugging the site.